Today, we are going to talk about mucho, mucha, muchos, and muchas. This is an important grammar point that you will definitely be using every day if you're speaking Spanish. The other day, I did a video about adjectives, gender, and number. That was only because I wanted to do this video, mucho, mucha, muchos, and muchas. But then I thought, well, let's start with the adjectives and go from there. Mucho and mucha are used to talk about a lot of something uncountable. Muchos and muchas are used to talk about many or a lot of something plural. In English, we have much, we have many, we have a lot, we have a little, things like this. And we talk about countable and uncountable. In Spanish, we also have countable and uncountable. If you're not a person who thinks a lot about grammar, don't worry. It's a really simple concept. We'll talk about it right here. Okay, so first, countable and uncountable. What's the deal here? Countable is exactly what it sounds like. It's something that you can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of. You can count dogs, you can count cats, you can have, 10 sisters, you can have 100 bicycles, you can have 7 sandwiches or 8 tomatoes. In Spanish, they do the same thing. You can have 10 hermanas, you can have 7 gatos, you can have 4 bocadillos. No problem. Uncountable is used for mass nouns, things that you can have a little bit of or you can have a lot of. You can have a quantity of, but not a number of. So things like air, water, rice, flour, meat, fish. I talked about fish in my seafood vocabulary video. You can't count fish, but you can count sardines. You can have 3 sardines, but generally fish is a mass noun. That becomes important when we want to talk about quantities, like large quantities, or numbers, like mucho or mucha or muchos or muchas. So let's do some examples to make this clear. Couple of examples of uncountable things. Tengo mucho hambre. I made examples here with tengo and with necesito. So I have or I need. Tengo mucho hambre. I am very hungry. I have a lot of hunger. That's just how you say it in Spanish. Hambre is masculine and it is uncountable. It's a concept. There's no way of really knowing from the E on the end that hambre is masculine. It's just, you learn it. So, tengo mucho hambre and necesito mucho dinero. Dinero, money, is uncountable also. Same as in English. Money is uncountable, but you count dollars, you count euros, you count pounds. You count whatever the currency is that you are using. So that's uncountable and masculine. Feminine, tengo mucha paciencia. La paciencia is feminine. Tengo mucha paciencia. I have a lot of patience, for example. Necesito mucha comida para la fiesta. Comida is uncountable. Necesito mucha comida para la fiesta. I need a lot of food for the party. Yeah, so food is uncountable and also feminine. If you were counting comidas, you're counting like specific lunches, I guess. But yeah, la comida generally as a concept is uncountable. Other concepts that are uncountable, things like libertad and amor. You could technically count some things like this, but if you're talking about freedom as a concept or love as a concept, it's general, uncountable thing. If we're talking about countable things, tengo muchos amigos en Berlin. Tengo muchos amigos en Berlin. That is masculine and countable. Friends that I have in Berlin. These are people, you can count them. If you were speaking about female friends, you could do the same thing. Tengo muchas amigas en Berlin. So it's the same as these adjectives we did a few days ago. Gender and number, in this case, whether it has a number or whether it's just a mass of something uncountable. So, tengo muchos amigos or muchas amigas en Berlin. That's how they pronounce Berlin in Spanish. Another example, necesito muchos pimientos para la salsa. I need a lot of peppers for the sauce. Necesito muchos pimientos para la salsa. Brief note about food. La pimienta is pepper, like the spice, little tiny black peppercorns or colored peppercorns if you want. La pimienta, but pimientos are peppers like bell peppers, larger pimientos. So, necesito muchos pimientos para la salsa. That's masculine and countable. We could talk about necesito muchas cebollas para esta receta. Similar, but in feminine. Necesito muchas cebollas para esta receta. I need a lot of onions for this recipe. As usual, I would encourage you not to take the masculine feminine thing too literally. There's no good reason why onions are feminine and peppers are masculine, but black pepper, the spice, is feminine again. It's just, that's the way it is. Tengo muchas galletas. ¿Quieres llevarte algunas? I have a lot of cookies. Would you like to take some? Tengo muchas galletas. ¿Quieres llevarte algunas? Algunas is also feminine and plural because galletas is feminine and plural. These are cookies or biscuits. And I'm sure that alguno, alguna, things like that, there's another rule which I don't know off the top of my head, but is pretty similar to the one I'm explaining for mucho or mucha, etc. Alguna is like some. So there's that. Finally, let me mention that sometimes you might use these words, mucho, mucha, muchos, or muchas, as the answer to a question without further information. But in the question, you have the thing you're talking about, and you know whether it's masculine or feminine or whatever. So if I were to ask you, ¿te gusta el vino? You could say, mucho. Do you like wine? Yes, a lot. Or the opposite, no mucho. In this case, you're talking about your love for wine, not wine specifically, but, it's just very general. Your liking for wine is masculine and singular. You could say, ¿has tenido novia española? And the answer could be, muchas. I've had a lot of Spanish girlfriends. ¿Has tenido novia española? Muchas. So the question is about something that is feminine and countable, and you say many of them, feminine and countable. ¿Cuántos años llevas en Madrid? The answer could be muchos. How many years have you been in Madrid? The answer is many years. Muchos because años, muchos años. You understand when you're forming the question or the answer that if you had to say llevo muchos años viviendo en Madrid, that would be the full answer. And you have to use the muchos and años because the agreement between gender and number. But then if you're just abbreviating, you still have to use the gender and number on muchos, muchas, etc. An example in singular and feminine while we're here. ¿Tienes comida en la mochila? You could answer, sí, mucha. Do you have food in your backpack? The answer, yes, a lot. La comida, once again, is feminine and uncountable. So, ¿tienes comida en la mochila? The answer, sí, mucha. And that's that. That's just another thing we have to think about. Spanish people do this without thinking about it at all. They're not spending a lot of time considering the masculine or feminine properties of their nouns. They just do it naturally without a lot of contemplation. You'll have to contemplate it a little bit in order to get to the point where you can do it without thinking too hard. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. I enjoyed making this video. I hope you enjoyed watching it. Please go to expatmadrid.com/donate and send some money to support the project. Listen to the podcast. It's right here on YouTube. It's called Spain to Go. It's right on my channel. There's a playlist called Spain to Go with most of the episodes up there. You could also go to expatmadrid.com to read about life in Spain. You could contact me in the comments here or through the website expatmadrid.com. You can follow me on Instagram. I'm Daniel Welsh. And that's about it. I hope you have a great day wherever you are in the world. And until next time, bye.